This story is titled, I Accidentally Laughed During My Sister's Engagement Speech. Now she's convinced I'm cursed and banned me from the wedding, until she needed a free photographer. You know that awkward moment when your entire family thinks you've cursed your sister's marriage because you couldn't hold in a laugh during her engagement speech? Yeah, welcome to my life. I'm Jake, 27M, professional photographer by day, apparently full-time family disappointment by night. And this is the story of how I managed to turn my sister's engagement into a Greek tragedy, complete with curses, dramatic exits, and the sweet, sweet smell of revenge served at precisely 35 millimeters. Let me introduce you to the cast of this disaster. First, there's my sister Rachel, 30F, who genuinely believes Mercury retrograde is a valid excuse for maxing out her credit cards. Then we have her fiancé Brad, 32M, who's basically a human golden retriever, loyal, lovable, and occasionally runs into glass doors. My parents? Dad, 58M, is the type who thinks wearing socks with sandals is making an effort, and Mom, 55F, has turned passive-aggressive sighing into an Olympic sport. Oh, and can't forget Aunt Linda, 52F, our resident spiritual advisor, who once convinced half the family she could communicate with their dead houseplants. She's basically what happens when you order a psychic medium from Wish.com. So picture this. We're all at this fancy restaurant where a glass of water probably costs more than my monthly rent. Rachel's standing there, giving her engagement speech, talking about how she and Brad first met at a CrossFit competition. Spoiler, he was actually there to fix the air conditioning. She's going on about destiny and soulmates, which is rich considering she once said her soulmate was a slice of pizza. Now, here's where everything went sideways. Rachel's getting to the emotional peak of her speech, tears in her eyes, mascara somehow still perfect. Seriously, what brand is she using? And she says, I kid you not. When Brad proposed, I knew it was meant to be because my crystals turned warm and my zodiac reading that morning said big changes are coming. I tried, guys. I really did. I pressed my lips together so hard I probably looked like I was trying to French kiss myself. But then Brad, sweet, simple Brad, nodded along with such conviction that I lost it. It wasn't even a proper laugh. It was one of those snort-choke-cough combinations that sound like a duck being strangled by a kazoo. The silence that followed? Let me tell you, I've taken photos of graveyards with more atmosphere. Rachel's face went through all 5 stages of grief in about 3 seconds flat. And Aunt Linda? She gasped so dramatically I thought she was auditioning for a telenovela. Little did I know, this was just the beginning of my descent into family infamy. If I'd known what was coming next, I might have just leaned into it and started cackling like a cartoon villain right there and then. So there I am, trying to transform my laugh into a cough like I'm auditioning for the world's worst actor, when Rachel storms over to me. And when I say storms, I mean full Category 5 hurricane in a designer dress. Before I can even squeak out on my bad slap, her hand connects with my face so hard, I swear I saw my childhood flash before my eyes. Fun fact, getting slapped in public sounds exactly like a Walmart chicken breast hitting a tile floor. Who knew? How dare you mock my spiritual connection with Brad? She shrieks. And I'm not exaggerating when I say every wine glass in the restaurant probably cracked a little. Meanwhile, Brad's standing there looking like a confused Labrador watching a magic trick. I'm holding my cheek, thinking this would make a killer photo series if I wasn't, you know, the subject. But oh no, Rachel was just warming up. She goes full nuclear, screaming about how I've always been jealous of her spiritual awakening. Translation. That time she bought $500 worth of rocks from a guy named Moonbeam at a street fair. You're just bitter because your aura is the color of expired mustard, she announces to the entire restaurant. I wanted to point out that mustard doesn't expire, it just gets spicier, but I figured this wasn't the time for food science. Aunt Linda, seizing her moment like it's the last call at a psychic hotline, jumps up and gasps. The spirits are disturbed. Honestly, same. She starts waving her hands around my head like she's trying to swat invisible mosquitoes. Your negative energy has cursed the union. I can feel it in my bunions. Mom's doing her signature move, rapid-fire crossing herself while whispering Jesus, Mary, and Joseph on loop like she's trying to summon the Holy Trinity for an intervention. Dad's just stress-eating breadsticks, probably wishing he'd stuck with his first instinct to watch the game at home. You've always tried to ruin everything for me. Rachel's really hitting her stride now, mascara starting to make her look like a raccoon having an existential crisis. Remember my Sweet 16 when you told everyone my new Mercedes was actually a used Honda with a fancy hood ornament? In my defense, that was just journalism. I try to explain that I was laughing at the absurdity of the situation, not her spiritual whatever, but she cuts me off with, "Save it for your Instagram, you pathetic excuse for an artist. At least I have a real career." She sells essential oils on Facebook, but okay, sis. That's when she drops the bomb. "You're banned from my wedding. I won't have your toxic energy and that stupid camera of yours anywhere near my special day." She's pointing at me like she's trying to cast a spell, her engagement ring catching the light and probably blinding several nearby diners. I'm sitting there, face stinging, thinking about how this would make an amazing wedding photographer origin story, when Brad finally speaks up. "Babe, maybe we should all take a few deep BR." "Shut up, Brad." Everyone yells in unison. I swear, even the waiter joined in. Poor guy just wanted to know if we still wanted to see the dessert menu. The cherry on top? Aunt Linda starts sprinkling what she claims is protective salt around Rachel, but is definitely just sweet and low packets she grabbed from the table. At this point, I'm trying not to laugh again because, honestly, this is better than any comedy special I've ever watched. The grand finale of my public shaming came when the restaurant manager, this tiny guy with a mustache that looked like it was trying to escape his face, politely suggested I leave. And by politely suggested, I mean he stood there awkwardly saying, "Sir, please." While my sister screamed, "Remove the curse bearer," like we were in some budget fantasy movie. I grabbed my jacket and camera bag, giving one last look at the chaos I'd left in my wake. Mom dabbing her eyes with a $40 napkin, Dad stress ordering another bottle of wine, and Linda still throwing sweet and low around like discount holy water. And Brad, well, Brad was very interested in his shoelaces at this point. The walk home was fun. Nothing like a nice evening stroll with a hand-shaped welt on your face to really make you question your life choices. I kept replaying the moment in my head, thinking maybe I should have just stuffed a bread roll in my mouth instead of letting that laugh slip out. The guilt started creeping in like that weird cousin who always wants to tell you about their cryptocurrency investments. I spent the next 2 days in what I like to call my shame spiral studio apartment, alternating between beating myself up and scrolling through old photos of Rachel's previous dramatic episodes. There was the great Christmas turkey incident of 2019. She claimed the bird was judging her life choices. The boyfriend butterfly effect of 2021. She dumped a guy because a butterfly landed on his nose and she took it as a warning sign. And now this. But then, plot twist. Brad calls me. "Hey man," he says, sounding like he's hiding in a closet or something. I've been wanting to call since that night. I'm bracing myself for more crystal-based curses, but instead, this beautiful human golden retriever starts apologizing. To me. "Look," he whispers, "I nearly lost it too when she mentioned the crystals. I was nodding so hard because if I opened my mouth, I would have completely lost it. You actually saved me. Everyone was so focused on your laugh that nobody noticed I was basically having an aneurysm trying not to crack up." I'm sitting there, phone to my ear, mouth hanging open like I'm trying to catch flies. Brad continues. "Rachel, she kind of has a flair for the dramatic. Remember when she organized a funeral for her dead succulent? The one where she made everyone wear black and play Amazing Grace on kazoos?" I ask. "Yeah, that one," he chuckles. "Listen, I know she banned you from the wedding, but we actually really need a photographer." The one we hired backed out after seeing Rachel's 47-page shot list, which included capture the exact moment my aura merges with Brad's. I almost choke on my coffee. "Are you sure about this? Won't Rachel go nuclear again?" "Trust me," Brad says, suddenly sounding like a man with a plan. "I'll handle Rachel. Besides, you're the best photographer we know, and honestly, I kind of need someone there who gets how ridiculous this all is. Just, maybe keep the laughing internal this time." And that's how I, the recently cursed family pariah, got hired to photograph my sister's wedding. If you listen carefully, you can probably hear Aunt Linda's bunions screaming in protest from here. So there I am, on the morning of my sister's wedding, carrying enough camera equipment to document a small war, and feeling like Mother Teresa for doing this gig for free. Yeah. That's right, free. Because nothing says, "Sorry I laughed at your crystal communion," quite like sacrificing a $3,000 paycheck. I even bought a new black shirt to blend in with the shadows like some kind of photography ninja. Brad meets me at the service entrance. Red flag number 1. Entering through the kitchen like I'm smuggling contraband photographer. He's already sweating through his tux, which really brings out the man about to witness a homicide glow in his complexion. "Everything's cool," he keeps saying. But in that way people say everything's cool when everything is definitely not cool. Rachel's been super zen today. Her chakras are totally aligned. Translation, she's one minor inconvenience away from going full bridezilla. We sneak through the venue like we're in some weird heist movie. Brad's actually checking around corners before we turn them. I should have known something was up when we passed the same confused waiter 3 times because Brad kept making us take alternate routes. I'm setting up my gear in the bridal suite anteroom, fancy word for closet with delusions of grandeur, getting ready to capture all those precious bride getting ready moments when the door flies open. And there stands Rachel, half her hair in curlers, wearing a wedding dress that probably cost more than my car, looking like she's just seen a ghost, or worse, someone wearing the same outfit as her. What the actual fuck? Her scream hits a pitch that makes dogs in the next county start howling. I swear I saw her veil levitate from the sheer force of her rage. Oh hey, Ratch, I say, trying to sound casual while simultaneously calculating the distance to the nearest exit. You look murderous. I mean, marvelous. Definitely meant marvelous. She whirls on Brad so fast her curlers become weapons of mass destruction. She points at him with her bouquet like it's a loaded weapon. You brought the curse into our sacred space? Brad, this magnificent idiot who I now realize has the self-preservation instincts of a lemming, actually tries to smile. Surprise. I thought since Jake was offering to do it for free. For free. Rachel's voice could shatter diamonds at this point. She freezes mid-rage, and I swear to God, I witnessed the fastest personality switch in human history. It's like watching a demon being exorcised by the power of a Groupon. Free, she repeats, this time in a voice dripping with honey instead of venom. Like, completely free? No hidden costs? No charging extra for editing or high-res files. I nod slowly, watching her face transform from vengeful spirit to sweet baby angel faster than she goes through healing crystals. Everything included. Full package. Worth $3,000. Well? She touches her curlers thoughtfully. I suppose the universe does work in mysterious ways. Maybe this is a sign of spiritual alignment. She turns to Aunt Linda, who's been hovering in the doorway clutching her sage stick like a lightsaber. What do your bunions say about this, Aunt Linda? Aunt Linda, professional grifter that she is, catches the shift in the wind immediately. Oh yes, the spirits, they're actually quite pleased with this arrangement. Very pleased. The vibrations are shifting positively. Her bunions apparently got the memo about the free photography real quick. Meanwhile, I'm standing there with my camera, smiling like butter wouldn't melt in my mouth. But oh boy, the revenge scenarios starting to play in my head would make Quentin Tarantino say, wow, calm down there. I'm thinking unflattering angles. I'm thinking mysterious lens flares in all the important shots. I'm thinking catching every single one of her weird facial expressions that make her look like she's mid-sneeze. Oh Jake, you're such a darling. Rachel coos, coming in for a hug that smells like hairspray and opportunism. I knew you'd make things right. This is just like that psychic told me. Free blessings will come your way. Over her shoulder, I catch Brad's eye. He looks simultaneously relieved and terrified, like a man who's dodged a bullet only to realize he's standing on a landmine. Poor guy has no idea he's about to be immortalized in photos that'll make him look like he's being held hostage at his own wedding. As I start setting up my equipment, carefully hiding my smirk behind my camera, I'm already planning my masterpiece. After all, they say revenge is a dish best served cold, but I say it's best served in high resolution with expert color grading and just a touch of malicious compliance. Oh sister dearest, you want your aura captured? I'll capture all of your auras, especially the ones where your mid-blink and your mouth is hanging open like a surprised fish. This wedding album is about to become my finest work of passive-aggressive art. Let me tell you about the art of vengeful wedding photography. It's like being a sniper, but instead of bullets, you're armed with perfectly timed shots of double chins and awkward expressions. And boy, did I deliver a masterclass. First up, the getting ready shots. You know how most bride prep photos look like a Renaissance painting? Well, I made sure to catch Rachel mid-scream at her bridesmaid Sarah for breathing too loudly and disturbing her energy field. There she is, mouth wide open, that vein in her forehead doing interpretive dance, while Sarah looks like she's contemplating a career change. I titled that one Bride's Inner Beauty Emerges. Then there's what I like to call the Crystal Communion series. Rachel decided to cleanse her wedding dress with sage smoke, which, fun fact, made her look like she was being attacked by a fog machine. Got a perfect shot of her eyes crossed, trying to watch a crystal pendant swing over her dress to check its energy. That one's going in my portfolio under Modern Tribal Rituals. The ceremony was my magnum opus. You know that thing where someone's talking and they make weird mouth shapes between words? I documented every single one. We're talking full-on fish face as she recited her vows about Brad being her soul flame from a past life in Atlantis. I got her exactly when she said, eternal love, but it looks more like, I ate a lemon while having an existential crisis. My personal favorite? The moment she tried to channel cosmic energy during their first kiss. Picture this. Head thrown back, nostrils flared like she's trying to inhale Brad's soul, arms spread wide like she's about to take flight. Aunt Linda is in the background doing what I can only describe as interpretive crystal healing dance moves. I made sure to get it from an angle that makes Rachel look like she's being dramatically possessed by the spirit of a community theater reject. The reception was like shooting fish in a barrel. If the fish were wearing a $5,000 dress and constantly making faces like they're smelling something suspicious. Every time Rachel went to take a bite of wedding cake, click mid-chew glamour shots. That weird thing where she throws her head back laughing but looks like she's having a dental exam? Got it in 4K, baby. Oh, and the dancing? Let's just say I've captured enough shots of Rachel's spiritual interpretive dance moves to fill an entire Instagram account called When Crystals Attack. There's this one particular gym where she's trying to merge her aura with Brad's on the dance floor. She looks like a flamingo having a stroke while Brad resembles a man who's seriously reconsidering his life choices. I made sure to get plenty of Aunt Linda too, because why stop at just torturing one family member? My favorite is her mid-sage blessing, looking like she's trying to put out an invisible fire with a handful of herbs while wearing an expression that suggests she's either seen a ghost or really needs to use the bathroom. The best part? Every single photo is technically perfect. Perfect lighting, perfect composition, perfect focus. They're just, let's say, perfectly timed. When Rachel inevitably complains, I can just point to my impeccable technical skills. Oh, you don't like how you look performing your moonbeam absorption ritual? But look at the excellent exposure values. I even got Brad's silent cry for help moments, like when Rachel announced to everyone that their first dance song was chosen by communicating with her deceased hamster through a dream meditation. His face is a masterpiece of polite desperation. For the grand finale, I made sure to capture Rachel's speech about how their love transcends dimensions. Got her right when she was explaining how she and Brad were star-crossed cosmic warriors in a previous galaxy. Mid-gesture, eyes half closed, mouth open wide enough to catch passing flies, with Brad in the background looking like he's mentally calculating how long it would take to reach the nearest exit. The cherry on top? I'm giving her all the photos. Every single one. Because nothing says, loving sister, quite like providing comprehensive documentation of every questionable decision made on your wedding day. In high resolution. With professional color grading. As I was packing up my gear at the end of the night, Brad whispered, "The photos came out okay, right?" I just smiled and said, "Don't worry, I captured everyone's true essence." And boy, did I ever. A week after the wedding, I sent Rachel a beautifully crafted email with a link to her wedding gallery. "Here's your special day, captured with all the love and attention it deserves," I wrote, trying not to cackle as I hit send. Then I sat back, opened a beer, and waited for the inevitable explosion. It took exactly 47 seconds. My phone erupted with Rachel's incoming call. I put it on speaker because this was definitely a moment worth savoring in full stereo sound. "What the actual F***CK is this?" she screeches, her voice somehow managing to crack my phone screen protector. I look like I'm having an exorcism in half these photos. And what's with all the shots of me mid-sentence? Why do I have 17 shins in the cake-cutting photos? Oh, you mean you're channeling divine energy moment? I thought that's what you were going for with all the... I wave my hand, even though she can't see me. Spiritual expressions. You. She's practically hyperventilating now. You got me doing my sacred crystal dance looking like I'm having a seizure at a rave. And that shot of me blessing the champagne. I look like I'm trying to strangle the bottle. Aunt Linda looks like she's performing an emergency exorcism in the background. I was just capturing the authentic spiritual energy of the moment. I say, in my most innocent professional photographer voice. You know, like when you were doing your merge auras with Brad dance. Really caught the essence of that interdimensional connection. "These are unusable," she shrieks. "What am I supposed to show people? The shot where I look like I'm trying to eat Brad's soul during our first kiss?" "Well," I say, taking a long, satisfying sip of my beer, "you did want it for free. And hey, technically, these are all perfectly composed, professionally lit, high-resolution images. Just like I promised." There's a moment of silence on the other end. The dangerous kind of silence that usually precedes either a volcanic eruption or a nervous breakdown. "You did this on purpose," she whispers, finally getting it. "This is about the engagement dinner, isn't it?" "Oh no, dear sister," I say sweetly, channeling her own passive-aggressive tone. "This is about every time. The time you told Mom I was wasting my life with photography. The time you tried to convince my clients to hire your friend's cousin instead. Oh, and let's not forget how you only wanted me as your photographer when you found out it was free. But, she sputters, "What am I supposed to do now?" We can't have these be our only wedding photos. What will people think? Well, I say, examining my nails, I do have another set of photos. You know, the normal, flattering, make you look like a beautiful glowing bride kind. The ones where you don't look like you're attempting to summon ancient spirits while choking on wedding cake. You have normal photos? Her voice gets that hopeful tone that tells me I've got her exactly where I want her. Full collection. Every perfect moment, beautifully captured. No weird faces, no unfortunate angles, no visible evidence of your attempt to merge spiritually with the champagne fountain. How much? She asks through gritted teeth. $3,000, I say cheerfully. Standard wedding package rate. You know, the one you were trying to get for free by exploiting your dear, cursed brother? I hear what sounds like her banging her head against a wall. That's extortion. No, that's business. I correct her. Consider it a family discount on a valuable life lesson. Don't screw over people who are holding cameras during your important life moments. 20 minutes, 3 threats to tell mom, and 1 attempted crystal curse later, Rachel PayPal'd me the full amount. I sent her the real photos immediately. All the gorgeous, flattering shots that make her look like a princess and Brad look like he totally meant to marry into this circus. So here's what I learned from this whole experience. When it comes to family, always charge more than you would for strangers. Why? Because strangers might give you a bad review, but family will try to guilt trip you into working for free at every holiday dinner for the rest of your life. Plus, when family inevitably pisses you off, and they will, you want to make sure you've been paid enough to afford the therapy you'll need. Oh, and the best part? Rachel actually posted one of the cursed photos on Instagram, the one where she looks like she's trying to force-feed Brad cake through telepathy. She claimed it captured the raw spiritual energy of their union. It got more likes than any of the normal photos. I guess sometimes the universe really does work in mysterious ways. And sometimes, just sometimes, karma comes with a professional camera and a very, very petty trigger finger.